welcome back to a new guide. Today we're going to be looking at an all-in that recently got played in the GSL Super Tournament by Parting versus TY. Parting lost with it, but I believe that to be a build order loss, and I've been trying this build a little bit myself, and it's been working rather well. So I figured I'd make a quick guide on it. It is an all-in. It is a PROXY 2 robo all-in versus Terran. So let's get started. This build, I must admit, is a pretty hardcore all-in. There's no real transition away from it. And on top of that, you also need to start with gas first, no scout. Which means that in case you're getting proxy reapered, proxy raxed, you're pretty much gonna die. There's not much you're gonna be able to do against that. So play this against your friends that you know who play, like to play a macro game, but don't try this out against people that cheese a lot. So we open with gas before gateway. So 15 gas, 17 gateway. We keep all of our probes at home. And then once we have 16 workers on our minerals, we start rallying into the gas. This is the optimal way to get resources if you're not scouting in any matchup. Well, we just follow it up with a standard 1 gate expand. So that's what we're going to do here as well. We get a 20 Nexus, a 20 core. Detail, after the Nexus, you don't go back into your main base with the probe, but you move it to your proxy location, whether that's this location or this location. Try to figure out how far you can come with the probe before you need to build your second pylon. You can get pretty much over here. So on most maps you can get very close to your opponent's base. Then at 20 supply, get your cyber core, get one more probe, your second gas, and then your pylon. So that's what we will do here as well. Second pylon gets proxied. And the second gas, you rally into it as well. Now, once your gateway finishes, you start with an Adept, which you chrono boost. You don't have to start Warp Gate. I did it here to fake Warp Gate research initially, in case your opponent scouts with an SCV. But you're supposed to cancel this, and then you build your second robo immediately as well. So your second robo goes down at about 222. You don't chrono your probes at all, except for the initial chrono. Then you get a Stalker, which you will chrono boost. Oh no, you don't chrono boost, I'm sorry. And then you just continue probe production, which you don't chrono boost. And after your Stalker and your 2 robos, you start your Warp Gate up. Now, after you build your 2 robos, you can either decide to sacrifice your probe into their natural to try and force the Reaper to stay home, or you can send the probe back home. But if you do send your probe back home, make sure it doesn't get spotted by your Reaper, because then he might know that something is being proxied. Now, once your first robo finishes, you immediately start your first Immortal production. And once your second robo finishes, you start Warp Prism production. Now, with this build, you only chrono boost 1 Robotics Facility. Another good detail to notice is that once your robos finish, you stop worker production altogether. So in total, we go up to 27 workers, not including the one we lost. So we'll go up to 28 or 27 workers, and then we stop worker production for a while. Okay? So we start our Immortal, we start our Prism, and we put all chrono boost on the robo that finishes first. This one's going to build 2 Immortals. This one's only going to be able to build a Prism. So here comes our second Immortal. 1 more chrono boost on it. And after we've started our Prism and our second Immortal, we build an extra Pylon. We build 2 more probes, and then we add 2 extra gateways. At 43 supply. And we should start an Observer immediately once our Prism finishes, which we rally on top of our Prism. Then, once our second Immortal is finished, we drop into our opponent's main base, and we start microing 2 Immortals against whatever he has with our Prism. Well, this is a very easy AI, so he doesn't have a lot of units. Meanwhile, at home, we have those gates on the way, and once you can afford it, you start up 2 more Immortals, which you can chrono boost. And you just rally it either to your Prism, or you can rally them over here. your Observer joins your army. Observer is nice against mines, or if eventually he gets Banshees. Now your goal is to stay as long as there's no Viking in here, and as long as your Prism and your Immortals have good health. Once your Prism is about to die, or once a Viking is out, you just immediately retreat, do a big warp in of Stalkers, and then you go with 4 Immortals, 3-4 Stalkers to the front. You can also pull these 2 units, and boom, there you go. So just keep microing with these as long as it's possible. Well, this computer is not that great, so pretty much size. Make sure to never ever warp in with this Prism in their main base. The moment you do that, most of the time you're gonna lose your Prism. So always warp outside of their base. So if you're still microing in their base, once your warp gate and 3 gates finish, just do a big warp in outside, over here for example, and then just walk them towards their natural. Start killing workers, or start attacking the bunker together with the 2 Immortals that you should be having. And this is pretty much the build. It's a very simple build, it's a very effective build. It does die against any kind of early game aggression, but it should be, yeah, this build should give you a lot of wins. And just wait until your opponent leaves, and you're completely fine. Fantastic. Now I also have a replay which I played against the Terran, in this case against Rainers of Race. Because there's no other Terrans that want to play with me and are my friends. So as Rainer, if you want to play a game with me, Rainers of Race is rather good. It's about 6'2", 6'3", so 6.3k MMR on the European ladder. So it's pretty decent, I would say. And it was a, well, as you can see, it's a 5-minute 47-second victory. So I'm just gonna go over what exactly happens in this game. The start is not that important. I think this is one of the better maps in the current map pool to do it on. You have a beautiful location here for your double robos. You can also proxy them here really quickly in that base. Difficult to find for a Reaper. This one's a little easier to find. You could also proxy it over here, even though a little further away. But you know, lots of locations to proxy. 2 robos, your Adept. You don't want the Reaper to get into the main base. So your main goal is really to deny this Reaper Scout with this Adept and then this Stalker. You just don't want him to get in, basically. That's your main goal. So here comes our Immortal, and here comes our Prism. And second Chrono Boost on the Immortal, and third Chrono Boost on the Immortal. Meanwhile, I kill the Reaper in the main base, and then this is the important part. Here come the extra gateways. And we just start microing, making sure we don't take any damage on our Prism. You see how I run away with my Prism and then come back again. Whenever mines burrow, you just run away. You can try to force a mine if you're very confident in your micro and then pick up at the last second, but most of the time it's not necessary. Here comes the Observer, which will help greatly against the mines. Ideally, you always focus the units with the highest DPS. So if there's a tank, you focus the tank or the Cyclone, otherwise you focus the Marines. Well, in this case, my Immortals are very low, so I should probably get out of here. On top of that, he also has a Viking on the way. I can't know that yet, but I'm about to find out. Pick them up one last time, kill one more unit, and then my 2 extra Immortals are about to finish up. My 3 gates finish. I do get a little bit supply blocked in this game, so it's not the cleanest execution, but you see, even against 6'2", 6'3k Terran players, so that's about top 50 Grandmaster, I would say. This build works relatively well. Then here comes the big push in front, and with your Observer you can see the mines. If there would be a tank positioned here, just grab 2 Immortals and a Prism, drop on top of the tank, and you should be completely fine. You have so many Immortals you can spare to lose 1 or 2. Just keep warping in more Zealots, or Stalkers I mean. And do note the position of this Prism, very far behind. If you lose the Prism, the push pretty much ends, so please don't lose the Prism. And aim of your way to victory. That's pretty much it. It's a very simple guide. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get lots of easy wins on the ladder. And I would like to say bye bye. See you next time.